Hey everybody, it's Joshua, and I wanted to do a quick video to talk about these nasty things, sand spurs. So it's September here in North Carolina, and that means a few things. It means we have highly variable weather again. You wake up, you're shivering in the morning, and you're sweating in the afternoon. It means the muscadines are ripe, it's time to pull them and eat them and make juice. And it also means that sand spurs start popping up all over my yard. Now this is an annual cycle that we live with here in our area. And as I get down and show you, you'll be able to see that our yard has a really sandy soil. When I was a kid, I used to encounter these mostly along the beach. If you're walking along the edge of the dunes where there's lots of weeds, you may see them growing there. And in the specific times of the year, you'll see the spurs have formed. They have nasty spines on the part where the seed is. They get caught on fur or in your skin and then distributed around so they have a chance to grow in a new area. Now we have in our yard an excellent distributor of sand spurs known as the cottontail rabbit. We have tons of rabbits every year. They're a lot of fun to watch. My kids love to chase them, right Scarlett?
Yes.
Love chasing them around the yard. They're fun to just see, grow little ones to big ones. But they're probably the biggest distributor of sand spurs in our yard. If you have a dog or a cat, you can get caught in their fur when they grow up and they make spurs here in the fall. So I'm going to go over how to deal with these and a method that we found to be effective in getting them out of the yard. We tried some different things over the years. We've tried hiring contractors to come and spray the yard to control weeds. It seemed like everything they sprayed did a good job on every weed except for the sand spurs, and it just made them angry and they made more spurs. Then I tried specifically going after the sand spurs with Roundup. Just go ahead and knock it out. Killed the sand spur really well. The problem is it also leaves a totally dead spot about this big around of brown grass in your yard. So you gotta wait for that to grow back, which is not that much fun. Then after a while we found out that the easiest way is just to dig them out. So there's a handful of tools and a process that we use that works really great. First, get yourself some of these flags from like Home Depot or Lowe's. Just a little metal rod flag on top. This is the step that you involve your family in because these spurs do stick and they're nasty and they're not fun. So you just go around the yard and put a flag everywhere that you see a sand spur. And then you can come back later and start digging them out. Or rather, the person who is designated to dig the sand spurs can go around and dig them out. This process, we mark them all real quick, and then I can just come back and go around the yard and pull them all out. The other tools you're going to need are a good pair of gloves. I really like these nitrile coated garden gloves. They're comfortable, they breathe, and they give you just enough protection to keep the spur from really getting into your skin. If one gets on here, you're going to feel it, but it's not going to hurt and you're going to be able to pull it off without causing any more trouble. The next thing you're going to need is a bucket. Any kind of bucket will do. I like 5-gallon buckets. Again, Home Depot or Lowe's is real cheap, or you just recycle it from something else. Got this from a buddy when we were doing a honeybee project. Used to have joint compound in it, and it works great for anything around the yard. So get a bucket, got some gloves, and you need a trowel or any kind of small shovel, something to get up underneath it and pop it out. I have done it with a full-size shovel, and that works great for getting the spur out, but it does leave a little bit more of a hole divot in your yard. So let's go look at some sand spurs. Alright, so my family's already come out here, my wife and my 2 daughters, and they walked around with the flags and they marked points all throughout the yard. So let's walk down here to the spot where there's a whole lot of sand spurs and really look into the technique. Alright, so you come out here and just take your flag out, put that in your bucket. I'll show that a little further away. You can see down here, here's those leaf shoots with the spurs right here on the end. These spurs are still green. You want to pick these out as soon as you can when they come out. When they're green, they're not near as sharp as when they get dry and they turn brown. You see brown spurs, those will really poke you and really suck. So here's what I do. Come in here, try to get underneath all of these shoots. That way the spurs are not interacting with your hand, come in a little bit with the trowel, just get underneath it just a little bit, and 2 hands in there if you need to. Lift that up, come back in here, get underneath so that the spurs are away from you, and then gently work them on out. So now you can see I got the spur plant, I've got the roots. Throw it in your bucket, come back and check to see what's left. Still a little bit of plant. That's all sand spur. These are viable, you don't want to leave them around, trash them. And now you're left, I said earlier about the sandy soil, you can see really sandy. And Scarlett and I just actually ran inside, it started raining. You can still see how dry the soil is. It's very loose and sandy. Sand spurs love it. When you're done, just kind of pack that back in there. Ta-da! And look, can you still see this one? Mm-hmm. There's another one right over here. This is pretty common that you'll do one and then there's another one right near it. So just come under here, work it out so that you get the whole plant as much as possible. Top to bottom. Don't touch the spurs. A little bit more. Let's get this guy. If I just rip it, I might break it. If I leave roots behind, it'll grow back. So get underneath it, get it loose, pull it out. There's the root, got it. And for extra good measure, now it's good. All right, let's do another one so you can see this again. And this time, curl the hat around because we mean business. All right, so Scarlett flagged this prior, pull it out, throw it in your bucket. Find your spurs, lift them up so that they're not poking you. And that way you can also see the base of the plant. Then get up underneath it a little bit. Work those roots loose. See, that one grabbed me a little bit. And then once you got the roots loose, pull the whole plant out, knock any dirt off. Now we got the whole thing. There we go, sand spur in the bucket. And you can see, this is my work bucket full of sand spurs. We're just gonna go around and finish the yard that way. And you just keep going until your yard's clear. Years ago, we used to have tons of sand spurs when we first moved in. And like I said, we tried the different methods. I'm not a huge fan of big time use of herbicide wide all over the place, and we started doing this. And from year to year, we had less and less sand spurs. So this is a method that I endorse. Clearly, you can pull a whole lot out. The yard gets clean. You know, and just a note there, if you've got neighbors, which we do, rabbits run from yard to yard, so unfortunately, even if you clean them all out of your yard, the rabbits are still going to bring them in from somewhere else from time to time. That's just life, but this works really well. One last thing, if you get stuck with a sand spur, here's the trick for getting it out. Don't just go grab it and yank it, because if you got one stuck here and you go grab it with 2 fingers, you're going to poke your other 2 fingers. All you really got to do is get it wet. So if you got a hose, get your hand wet. As soon as those spines get wet, they kind of get wimpy, and then they're not so pokey. The drier it is, the worse it hurts, the more it sticks and stings. But once it's in there, if it's poked you, I mean, and it's a little gross, but if you're out in a big yard, just spit on it or whatever you need to do to get it wet. That'll loosen up those spines. They'll kind of get a little limp and it'll pop right out. The process works great on dogs and cats too. They get one stuck in their paw, get it in their fur. Get a little wet first and then take it out. Your dog will probably thank you. No, they won't because they're dogs, but it's gonna hurt a lot less. So I hope this was helpful. I hope for anyone else who lives through the annual terror of sand spurs, find something in this video that helps you to move them out faster, easier, and keep on moving and enjoy your wonderful yard in September and beyond. Thanks for watching. Bye.